They are dead, aren't they?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, Daddy.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
The state of South Carolina, county of Colleton, indictment for murder, guilty, verdict.
We're gonna be covering Alex Murdaugh. Never heard of Alex Murdaugh or the Murdaugh family, then you are in for quite a treat. The Murdaugh family is probably the most dominant and successful law firm family in South Carolina. And me personally being from South Carolina, I've definitely been keeping up with the Murdaugh family, from a lot of the YouTube documentaries to the one that was also released on Netflix. So we're gonna be looking at the Murdaugh family.
On Prime Crime.
This is Alex Murdaugh. I need the police to answer to me, really.
2 deaths bring new questions for a family dynasty.
A lot of people respect them, but there are some people who fear them.
Absolutely.
The evidence.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
The testimony.
He was pacing back and forth, and he said, I got a bad feeling.
And the incredible moments.
County 911, where's your emergency?
This is Alex Murdaugh. I need the police to answer to me, really. My wife and child just got badly.
South Carolina, June 7th, 2021, 10:07 p.m.
I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Attorney Alec Murdaugh tells the 911 dispatcher that his wife, 52-year-old Maggie, and son, 22-year-old Paul, are shot dead at their family property known as Moselle.
Wow.
It's bad. It's bad. Check the pulses.
Paul and Maggie were found down at the kennels. Paul had been shot with a shotgun, shot in the chest first.
Oh my God.
The fatal injury was to his head. Maggie, meanwhile, suffered 5 gunshot wounds from what they said was a .300 blackout rifle.
Oh my God.
Using that type of ammunition.
They are dead, aren't they?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
But who could have done this? In order to understand the murders, we have to understand a bit more about the Murdaugh family.
I mean, that right there is just a lot to take in for itself. I mean, you have someone who was shot in the head with a shotgun. His brains were literally blown out of his head.
The Murdaugh family has been prominent in the Low Country of South Carolina for a century. 3 generations of Murdaughs prior to Alec Murdaugh were solicitors, basically the prosecutors. They were basically the face of law enforcement in that community. A lot of people respect them and revere them, but there are some people who fear them.
Controversy, rumors, and even deaths surrounded the Murdaugh family, such as the sudden demise of their family housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, in 2018.
According to what Alex told the insurance adjuster, that his dogs greeted her at the top of the step, which caused her to fall backwards. And that's the only known statement of that.
Then there's the mysterious death of 19-year-old Stephen Smith, found on a South Carolina road in 2015.
Wow.
The state troopers who were on the scene that morning didn't believe this was a hit and run.
His shoes would have been blown off. There would have been skid marks. There would have been some debris. So I think it was blunt force trauma, and I think he was dumped off in the middle of the road.
He was an openly gay teenager, and he had attended high school there in Hampton with Buster Murdaugh. Randy Murdaugh, Alec Murdaugh's older brother, apparently reached out to Sandy Smith, the mother of Stephen, and said, I will offer to represent you. And Sandy Smith really didn't understand why she would need any representation at that point.
Alex and Randy, either one or both, were on the scene. How would he know to show up to an accident scene? Buster says that he had nothing to do with his murder. I'll take him at his word.
But there's something else from the Murdaugh past. Something from 2019 that Alec immediately mentions to first responder Sergeant Green.
This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. I know that's what it is.
Paul Murdaugh and his friends went out. They were in his father's boat. There were people on the boat who said, let me drive. You've had too much to drink. And, you know, the reports we've heard was that Paul said, no, this is my boat. The boat then crashes that resulted in the death of Mallory Beach. He was indicted on boating while under the influence.
Is it possible Paul and Maggie were murdered by enemies of the family?
Maybe.
Fast forward almost 3 months
Very
after
possible.
the killings. 911 receive another call from Alec Murdaugh.
911 was your emergency.
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
What?
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes.
People start to think, oh my God, like somebody is out to kill this family.
It sounded like a shotgun. It was so loud.
But as you're about to see, sometimes in cases, things aren't exactly what they seem.
I just want to stop right here for a second because the whole point of this video is to determine in our eyes if Alex Murdaugh is guilty or innocent for the crimes that he has been charged with. But it is very interesting to note that it definitely seems that someone is out to kill this family. Slice it any way you want because this family was involved in a lot of. So, I mean, I just think that's very interesting.
Days later, Alec Murdaugh comes clean and says, you know what, some guy didn't shoot me. I asked Curtis Eddie Smith, this guy I know, to shoot me.
So,
wow.
your intent was to have him kill
So
you.
just fuck everything I just said. I mean, golly. Thank you, Alex Murdaugh, making me look like some kind of idiot. God.
You collect your life insurance, right? So my son could. I mean, I knew I was about to lose everything.
I wanted to commit suicide or be assisted in committing suicide so my son Buster could get $10 million from a life insurance policy.
Oh my gosh.
I've been really, really sick.
$10 million?
And I sincerely apologize again for lying to y'all.
Alec Murdaugh admits, I've had an opioid addiction for years, and so he fesses up and he's arrested for this.
Absolutely.
And when investigators dig deeper, they find that Alec Murdaugh was not the man that the community thought him to be.
Indictments come out for Alec charges for a number of financial crimes, tax evasion, stealing from clients, stealing from the law firm.
Wow.
Alec Murdaugh would eventually be charged with over 90 financial-related crimes, including embezzlement, money laundering, and conspiracy. But what else could he be hiding? Could he, in any way, be behind the killings of Maggie and Paul?
Did you kill Maggie?
No. Did I kill my wife?
Yes, sir.
No, David.
Did you kill Paul?
No, I did not kill Paul.
I don't know. We gonna find out, buddy.
I know it's hard.
On June 7th, 2021, Maggie and Paul Murdaugh are found shot to death on their family property in South Carolina. Maggie's husband and Paul's father, Alec Murdaugh, calls 911 to report discovering their bodies.
Did you check them?
We got medical guys.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
While Alec initially appears to be an innocent victim, during the course of the investigation, it's revealed he had been stealing from his law firm and clients and orchestrated a suicide plot to conduct insurance fraud. As he was criminally charged for these alleged financial crimes, the question became, is he hiding something else? Is it possible he was behind the killings too?
Oh boy.
Do you think I killed Maggie?
I have to go where the evidence and the facts
I
take me.
understand that.
Through a series of interviews with law enforcement, Murdaugh lays out his activities on the night of the murders.
I was up at the house. I laid down, took a nap on the couch. I left to go to my mom's. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there. So I figured they're still up here fooling around. I pulled up and I could see them, and, you know, I knew something was bad.
There are some odd things, though, about Alec Murdaugh. For instance, the footage you're seeing is from a Snapchat video that was taken off of Paul's phone earlier in the night before the murders. Now compare that to what Murdaugh is wearing later on in the
changed
evening
clothes.
after the killings.
At what point in that evening did you change clothes?
I'm not sure.
No one knows what happened to that blue shirt that Alec was wearing in the Snapchat video.
And let's talk about that timeline of the night.
The Cellbrite analysis shows that Maggie Murdaugh's phone locked at 8:49 p.m. So did Paul Murdaugh's phone. It doesn't appear that either one of them pick up their cell phones again.
Based on this cell phone data, investigators believe the killings happened between 8:49 and 9:06 p.m., and they also say someone, possibly the killer, was manipulating Maggie's phone before throwing it on the side of the road where it's ultimately found. After nearly an hour of no activity, Murdaugh's phone suddenly records a flurry of steps before he drives away from the property. And in fact, data from Murdaugh's car not only shows him driving past the location where Maggie's phone was tossed, but so much more.
The data also shows that Alec Murdaugh is at his mother's home for about 15 to 20 minutes.
How long would you say you were at your mom's that night?
45 minutes, an hour.
And speaking of questionable comments to police, there was this exchange that had a lot of people talking.
It was just so bad. They did it so bad.
You know, it sounds like they did him so bad. But a lot of other people thought he said, I did them so bad. That would be tantamount to a confession.
However,
hold on.
Let's go back to Murdaugh's alibi.
Hold on.
So they left.
Hold on. Let's see if I can catch. Let's see. I didn't catch that.
Had a lot of people talking.
It was just so bad. They did it so bad.
You know, it sounds
I don't
like
know. I don't know. You guys be the judge of that one. I didn't hear I. Not gonna lie, I didn't. You guys be the judge of that one.
they did him so bad. But a lot of other people thought he said, I did them so bad. That would be tantamount to a confession.
However, let's go back to Murdaugh's alibi.
So they left and went down to the kennels. And what did you do once Maggie and Paul left?
I stayed in the house. And I was watching TV, looking at my phone, and I actually fell asleep on the couch.
He was with his family, he took a nap, then he goes to his mom's. He said he had not been at the kennels.
And you didn't go back down there after dinner until you returned trip from visiting your mother?
Yes, sir.
Late in the investigation, authorities find something hidden on Paul's phone. A video recorded at 8:44 p.m., approximately 5 minutes before prosecutors say Maggie and Paul were shot. A video that changes this whole story.
Quit, Cash. Come. Quit. That's okay. Come here.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Oh my God.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
At 8:44 p.m., he told law enforcement he was asleep. So this totally blows up his timeline and his alibi.
It was the single most important piece of evidence. It's Paul speaking from the grave.
On July 14th, 2022, Alec Murdaugh was officially indicted for the murders of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh.
Oh my God, that right there just took a huge turn. He said that he was asleep. He wasn't asleep, he was there. He was there with them at the dog kennels, right? So if he wasn't the killer, then he knows who is the killer because he was there moments, minutes before they were killed. So there's no way that he does not know who killed Paul and Maggie.
Up next, a trial unlike any other.
The gallery was packed. People were lining up at 2 in the morning to make sure that they got a spot.
I believe Paul was shot first.
I thought he shot Maggie first.
What?
It's January 2023, the start of the murder trial of Alec Murdaugh, the once prominent South Carolina attorney, now accused of shooting to death his wife Maggie and son Paul on their family property back in June of 2021. The same man who was separately charged with dozens of financial-related crimes for stealing money from his law firm, clients, and the government. This trial was watched by the nation as the prosecution and the defense battled it out.
About 8:50 p.m., and the defendant over there, Alec Murdaugh, took a 12-shade shotgun and shot him. Just moments later, he picked up a .300 Blackout and opened fire on his wife, Maggie. Family weapons were used to murder Maggie and Paul.
The murder weapons were never found, but the examiner from SLED did say he believed the same .300 blackout rifle that killed Maggie Murdaugh was likely the same .300 blackout rifle that had fired 300 blackout rounds up by the house months prior.
Prosecutors would present the case that Murdaugh had the means and opportunity to kill his family on their property. They pinpointed his questionable activities through phone and car data, suggesting he moved quickly to cover his tracks and alibi. But they also argued that Murdaugh lied to investigators.
I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's.
How long did he stay in the room with y'all? I say y'all, for the record, you and Miss Libby, I apologize.
About 15 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Oh my
and prosecutors would also claim Murdaugh tried to influence the accounts of key witnesses.
He was pacing back and forth in the living room, and he said, I got a bad feeling. There was a video that was out, and he said, you remember the shirt I was wearing, that Vinnie Vines shirt? In my mind, I was saying, I don't remember a Vinnie Vines shirt. It was the polo shirt. I didn't really know whether he was trying to get me to say that that was a shirt he was wearing.
Yet arguably the state's strongest piece of evidence was the infamous kennel video, the recording taken off of Paul's phone that places Alec Murdaugh at the crime scene minutes before Paul and Maggie were murdered.
Come here, Cash. Come here, Baba. Cash.
The one question that remained is, why would Alec Murdaugh kill his wife and son?
The motive was he had financial pressure bearing down on him in June of 2021 from a number of sources. So now it was going to come out, most likely, that he had stolen $3.5 million. The law firm confronted him on June 7th, the day of Paul and Maggie's murders, and they said there's $792,000 missing.
I said, I have reason to believe that you received the Ferris money directly to you, and you need to prove to me that you did not.
The state felt he needed to divert the attention away from all these financial pressures.
And then there was the defense.
There's no direct evidence. There's no eyewitness. There's no camera. There's no fingerprints. There's no forensics tying him to the crime. None.
There were a number of things coming into this trial that seemed to be problematic for the prosecution.
There's no blood on him. They didn't find any blood on him.
What's the explanation for not having blood on himself? This would have been a bloody mess.
The defense also argued that the state's theory of the shooting could be off.
My opinion is the totality of the evidence is more suggestive of a two-shooter scenario. Why would one shooter bring two long rifles, two long weapons to the event? You can't handle and shoot two of them.
Whoever shot this shot, or these shots, well, first of all, the quail pen shot was 5'2" to 5'4".
That is the most likely explanation, yes.
I think the defense presented evidence to try to show that Alec Murdaugh really didn't fit the build of the person who committed the murders because of the evidence we heard about trajectory.
They also suggested this investigation was botched.
But there was a bloody footprint near his that turned out to be law enforcement, correct?
Yes.
Is that preservation of the scene that your standards require?
Not exactly, no.
Do we know what other evidence they may have destroyed?
I have no idea.
That's right.
Oh boy, okay. All right, so now we're cooking. The investigation, the handling of the case was botched. All right. Also, the whole trajectory thing. And the big question really for me is why? Why would you kill your wife and your son? I don't think that financial pressure or money or anything like that is a big enough deal to take out your wife and your son. I just don't believe that a man could do that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to be Alec Murdaugh's defense lawyer or anything like that, but I just want to look at this thing from every angle. I want to look at all the facts that we have here, you know? Do I personally think that he is guilty? Maybe, I don't know. But do I believe that he's innocent? Maybe, I don't know. So let's take our time with this. Let's just keep going.
When we come back, this whole trial changes when one person decides it's time for the jury to hear his side of the story.
What is your decision?
I am going to testify. I want to testify.
The evidence will show he killed Maggie and Paul.
Here is the law. He didn't do it.
In early 2023, the world watched the Alec Murdaugh murder trial unfold.
Oh,
the once
boy.
prominent attorney, now accused of shooting to death
Absolutely.
his wife Maggie and son Paul by the dog kennels on their family property. The prosecution presented compelling evidence, such as video from Paul's phone placing Murdaugh at the crime scene minutes before the killings. They also suggested that Murdaugh, a substance abuser and defendant in separate financial-related crimes cases, of killing his family because he was about to be exposed for stealing money from his law firm and clients, and the murders would be a distraction and buy him some time. Well, there was one man who wanted to set the record straight, and that was Alec Murdaugh himself.
Mr. Griffin, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime. Ever.
And that is when Alec Murdaugh shocked everyone.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you on the kennel video?
It is.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m.?
I was.
Oh, boy.
Did you lie to Sled Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland?
Oh, boy.
I did lie to them.
I don't think Alec Murdaugh had any choice but to take the stand because of the kennel video. He had to explain why he lied.
As my addiction evolved over time, I would get in these situations or circumstances where I would get paranoid.
He did really quite well, in my opinion. I thought credible, believable, showed appropriate emotion.
Showed appropriate emotion? I mean, we have to also remember that Alex Murdaugh, he's a lawyer. He's an attorney, a lawyer, whatever. He's been in law his entire life. So he knows how to win cases. He knows what the judges are looking for. He knows what the jury is looking for. So we can't sit here and say, oh, he was giving the appropriate emotion. Of course he knows what emotions he needs to display to the jury. He's been in court his whole life. He knows what to do. I didn't like that.
Financial crimes he was accused of perpetrating.
I stole money that was not my money. I misled people that I shouldn't have misled, and I did wrong.
Wow.
He's a liar. He's a thief, and he readily admitted that on
Yes,
the
he did.
stand. But he said, I might be these things, but I didn't kill my wife and son.
While Murdaugh says he was at the crime scene, he claims he left right before the murders. However, prosecutor Creighton Waters wasn't having it.
The reality is, Mr. Murdaugh, is the reason why no one's ever heard that before is because you had to sit in this courtroom and hear your family and your friends, one after the other, come in and testify that you were on that kennel video. So you, like you've done so many times over the course of your life, had to back up and make a new story that kind of fit with the facts that can't be denied. Isn't that true, sir?
No, sir, that's not true.
Putting Alex on the stand was the single dumbest move I've ever
Absolutely.
seen. When you have a guy that's an admitted liar.
Indictment for murder, guilty, verdict.
There's a lot of evidence that points towards Alex. He can't, deny that he was there at that point because there's a video that places him there. Somebody that couldn't speak, somebody that couldn't be a witness was able to be a witness even after they had passed away.
That's incredible.
I think that he's good at being able to talk
Absolutely
to people.
incredible.
And I think that whenever he's convincing himself as well. And I think he's able to do that because he often meshes the truth with a lie.
Mr. Murdaugh, I sentence you in the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh. I sentence you for the term of the rest of your natural life for the murder of Paul Murdaugh, whom you probably love so much. I sentence you to prison for murdering him for the rest of your natural life.
Alec Murdaugh's legal team intends to appeal the case, but right after the trial ended, a new update surfaced in the story of Stephen Smith, whose death fueled rumors of a Murdaugh family connection.
I had been asleep, and when I woke up, I saw that there were 3 phone calls from Chief Mark Keel. And he said, well, I'm going to communicate to you now the state of South Carolina's official position, and that is Stephen Smith did not die as a result of a vehicle accident or collision. He was, in fact, a victim of a homicide. And we're committed to finding out who killed Stephen
So
Smith.
after watching all of that and seeing that he was found guilty of murdering his wife and his son, now you may ask, well, what was the point of the video? Why am I asking the question, was he guilty or innocent? The reason I'm asking this question and bringing this back up is because just recently, the South Carolina Supreme Court is going to hear the case of jury tampering, which means the case is going to be reopened and they're trying to get him a new trial for the murders of Maggie and Paul. Published by Live 5 News, the 56-year-old Alex Murdaugh was convicted on June 7th, 2021 for the killing of Maggie and Paul. However, his attorneys are arguing that he was not given a fair trial due to jury tampering. His defense is arguing insufficient evidence. They're arguing that the jury clerk used her ability to persuade the jury into believing that Alex Murdaugh was guilty by his body language and emotion that was showed during the trial. You cannot make these things up. They're believing that she did this to promote her new book that was being released, but they are arguing that that is not the case and that the jury clerk did not persuade the jury in the guilty verdict of Alex Murdaugh. So currently, right now, it is not over. He is definitely fighting his conviction. He is trying to get a new trial. He's using anything he can to persuade the South Carolina Supreme Court that he is innocent and he did not kill his wife and his son. I will let you guys come up with your own conclusion on that and let me know down in the comment section what you believe, guilty or innocent. Did Alex Murdaugh kill his wife and son, Maggie and Paul? So I'm going to leave you guys on that note. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. That is going to do it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel.